Gosh. So it's been a long time. I'm the longest serving leader in London. I was elected leader, never chose to be elected leader, funnily enough. It happened kind of by choice back in 2008. So over that time, we have delivered so much that in a sense I kind of forget. So one of the first things I grew up on a council estate, and one of the first things that I thought needed to happen was the regeneration of Cllr Road and Thamesmead. I was a firm believer if they'd have been nearer to Westminster, then they probably would have gone a long time ago. And both were fabulous locations, but people didn't want to live there. So they were two of my long-term ambitions, and I'm grateful to know, and these schemes do take a long time to deliver, that Cllr Road is now gone. We've got a community in Erith Park, which is a real community. I'm very proud of that. Thamesmead is underway. It's a longer term project, but actually the one thing that I kind of thought from day one needed to happen was to open up that lake, and that's happened. And it's beautiful down there with community resources down there and everything, and it's really very, very good. But over the period we've delivered new schools. We were one of the first councils in the country to get 2 new free schools for children with special needs. I pretty much locked a Labour minister in a room to get the funding to build 2 schools when there was a regeneration of one school on the table. So very, very proud of both Harris Falconwood and Crayford Academy. So we've done lots around education. Really proud that we've delivered 2 outstanding children's Ofsteds. You know, our children are the future of our borough. So really important that we invest in them. But we were one of the first councils that actually thought prevention was really important, and I think that's helped us to be in that space, so that's really very good. Homes, we've created homes. You'll see opposite homes that have been created. A new town hall, but a new town hall that's a civic building but that works for its residents. I was always very keen that our town hall should belong to the people, because at the end of the day they pay for it. You know, this is not about glass chandeliers. This is about saving taxpayers' money and making a place where our employees can work in an efficient way, and I think it delivers on that. So yeah, lots of things that we've delivered over the years, and I think one of the main things that I was extremely proud of was through the pandemic, when our teams stepped up to the plate, but so did our residents. They smashed our phone lines on the weekend after that announcement, wanting to help one another. And I think if there's one thing that I'm really proud of is the Bexley community spirit, because our residents are absolutely superb. They want to help one another. You know, we are multicultural, multi-age group, you know, the whole lot. And it don't matter, because actually we celebrate, we know how to celebrate. The time of the Jubilee, the time of the coronation, you know, all those street parties with everyone coming together, even though there was rain. And, you know, people enjoy it, and that's what makes Bexley really special to me. So COVID was probably our biggest challenge. Getting to our vulnerable residents, really being mindful of the fact that not everyone has got a digital footprint. So we created what we called a Community Champions scheme. And so that actually meant that we could make contact with someone. So if you've got an email address and a digital footprint, that we could contact you and give you an update that you could then pass on to your neighbours and your friends and your family. That was important because that was the first time, I suppose, we recognised you couldn't put a bit of paper through the door. So actually you needed to create those networks where you could spread the message very quickly. People wanted information, they wanted to know what was going on, and I think we did that very, very efficiently. We were one of the first councils to do it. We did it very quickly. We made sure that we had a good spread of people. And I think we reached out to about 70,000 people through that. And we have an ongoing conversation with those champions. Of course, now in the post-COVID world, in the same way as everything else, we're thinking, so what's next? How do we ensure those people who stepped up to the plate can still feel part of our community and be delivering for our community? So I think the pandemic was a particular pressure point for us that we worked through together. Yeah, money's always a problem. So, you know, we are delivering more and more. The need is getting greater and greater. And you don't want to be putting up council tax bills, but at the end of the day, you know, you've got to pay for services. You know, our older population are getting older. You know, you've got younger people coming through with needs that they perhaps may not have had in the past. You want to make sure that people achieve and aspire to achieve what they can do. So as much as possible to getting people into jobs and better jobs so that actually they can stand on their own 2 feet and flourish. So yeah, there's lots of challenges, but we work through them, and yeah, we're very aspirational about our borough and making Bexley even better. And I think that's really very important. ULEZ. ULEZ is a particular challenge for Bexley. I know Mayor Khan says that 9 in 10 cars are compliant. That's taken from his own data at a particular time on a camera that probably wasn't in Bexley. We know it's much higher than that. We know as an Outer London borough, we're one of the few Outer London boroughs that have got no tubes. So public transport is a particular problem to us. And actually in the areas where there is less transport infrastructure, that's the areas where you've got the people that have got the more challenging lifestyles. So they've not got big amounts of money to be going out and buying a new car. They are dependent on their cars. And actually we're dependent on them because in most cases these are the people that are doing, you know, key roles that we all need, you know, the carers, the policemen, the nurses, you know, all of those people that we all so depend on. So, you know, overnight the mayor has, and I've had some, I want to say awful, but actually very insightful letters, emails, telephone calls, conversations with residents, where they've taken out loans for cars that are now worthless. You know, overnight, you know, you're paying your bill, you're holding your neck above the water, and overnight your car has become worthless. And no scrappage scheme is going to pay for a compliant car. You know, you hear, I'm being told, of lots of people that are trying to apply for the scrappage scheme, and actually it's really difficult to get accepted for, but it's not a great deal of money. So actually the ULEZ for Outer London doesn't work. The air quality data is not necessarily the right data, and depending on who you talk to. But actually there's so much more that the mayor could be doing. So, you know, we absolutely believe that we want the best air quality that our residents can have. That's one of the reasons we're passionate about delivering trees, about having our parks and open spaces that people can enjoy, and they really made use of that through the pandemic. So we're absolutely passionate about delivering air quality. We do not believe that the extension of the ULEZ is going to deliver what's needed. What we do know is if it comes about, and I say if because as you know we are fighting it, it will impact the lifestyles of a lot of our residents. And that will be, you know, not only financially, but actually their well-being as well. You know, there are so many people that are telling us, I'm not going to be able to afford to work. I'm not going to be able to see my family. I'm not going to be able to go shopping or go to the health centre or whatever. And that's really very detrimental to people's lives. So, you know, I plead on a regular basis to the Mayor to see sense. This is going to have a really bad effect on Bexley residents, you know, probably more so than many other places, and I just wish he'd see sense. And also, do you know what? It's a horrible message to put out there that it's okay to pollute the air if you believe it does pollute the air, if you can afford to pay for it. The other thing that, of course, from our point of view, that's an issue, is that we are a border borough. So actually we have lots of people come into Bexley from Kent, and likewise go the other way. So you've got schools, you've got, you know, medical provision, our shops, people come into work, you know, a number of key workers work the other side of the border. So what are they going to do? You know, actually, are they not going to come into Bexley? So are our shops and our trades going to be impacted by that? You know, we've got an awful lot of people that are what we phrase as white van man. You know, the little sole traders, or the people that we all depend on, all those skilled people like your plumbers and your carpenters and all of that. What are they going to do? If their vans aren't compliant, and there's a very high proportion of those vans not compliant, you know, what are they going to do? Are they going to stop working? Some of them certainly are, from what they're saying to me. But others, they're going to put the cost onto what they're charging you. And actually, that then comes back to all our taxpayers, and it will hit everyone. So, you know, yeah, it's the wrong thing to do, it really is. Do you know what? There ain't an awful lot of time when you're not leader of the council. It's quite amazing that you tend to be, especially with emails and all the rest of it, that people expect responses very, very quickly, and they think you're on duty all the time. Someone said to me the other, yeah, but someone else answers your emails. No, they don't. I answer all my emails. You know, it's kind of, and you can't not, because actually a lot of the things you get through, you want to help people with, and instinctively that's where I am. I do want to be helping people. But obviously life changed as a result of the pandemic, so an awful lot of stuff went virtual. So you were doing things at home that you know previously would have come up here to do. And so it's a different world, and of course now I've been created a baroness. I'm also going up to Lords, finding my feet around that. That's a bit of a rabbit warren to actually find your way around. So I'm hoping to be able to make a difference up there as well, and actually to be able to promote Bexley and be beneficial to Bexley up there. So yeah, I'm enjoying life. Prior to the pandemic, I started golf, but actually that then all stopped. So I'd quite like to get back to that. My fitness has suffered from being chained to desks doing virtual. And if I'm honest about it, I wouldn't do it any other way, because actually I not only had the responsibility for Bexley, but I was involved in the London-wide pandemic activity as well. So it was 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for an awful long time, you know, probably with no holidays for a couple of years. You know, it really was intense. And when I say it was intense, one New Year's Eve, I started at 8 o'clock in the morning and I didn't finish till 8:30 that night. And that was a New Year's Eve. But that was for residents. So, you know, actually, can you argue against it? So there's not an awful lot of downtime, but I am a normal person, and I have a family locally that obviously I enjoy being with. You know, you have friends and you socialise in Bexley, because actually Bexley is a great place to socialise. Yeah, I like reading, but I like reading when it's not council work, so you like to read some of those downtime stuffs. Yeah, and I'm a normal person, just like anyone else.